Hi there, and welcome to another episode of URC Chums podcast. Unfortunately, due to load shedding, Jacques not available. He's busy upgrading his place of residence to have solar power because he's going off grid. Unfortunately, as we know, Dara is still on bereavement leave. All the best to you, bud. If you watch this, and everybody who knows him, just give him some love. But yes, let's talk. Six Nations. Let's start there. It was a pretty interesting weekend. I don't know what to say regarding Wales. That was a game that I don't know what to say. That was a bit hardcore. As you can see here, I'm busy showing the results. 43-0. I think rumors are that they're still there, dealing with the police after the annihilation and the fact that they got murdered. I would use another term, but I can't say that here on YouTube. But yes, what was weird is how, like, for 19 minutes, 20 minutes, they seemed to be on board, and then finally they just broke and everything like this. And France just managed to hit the line properly and and they got through. Um, I know there was the yellow card that came to Wales. I saw that incident. I do believe the refs did get that right. The fact that there was mitigation to bring it down. Then with the red card for France, that was a similar incident where Intermac came in. The problem is the reason why Intermac got it was the fact that he came in with the shoulder charge. It wasn't a tackle. There was, and he was upright as well, direct contact to the head. So yes, I do believe they got that right. And then unfortunately there was the other yellow card for Wales, which they just put the nail in the coffin during that time, which unfortunately for Wales, as they said, a baker's dozen losses on the trot. I really hope that this weekend coming up against Italy, it's a change of pace for them. When you see someone is in a top 10 nation going 13 in a row, it's not cool. I mean, you don't want to see them doing 13 wins in a row when you're an opposition, but in all fairness, 13 losses in a row is not great to see. Then we had Scotland versus Italy. I will always claim Hugh Jones is a natural Stormers player. Literally started his professional career in the Stormers because apparently didn't make it in Scotland, came down to South Africa, got picked up. I was saying they needed to convert him sooner than later. Unfortunately, Scotland came in and took the opportunity and took him away. But Hugh Jones definitely was a great player that game. I don't know what happened. They got off to a beautiful start and then all of a sudden allowed Italy to come back with 19 points. And it was 19 all at one point. And then finally managing to push through to a 31 win, 31-19 win, which we were expecting a little bit more. But you'll hear a bit of Jacques things on some of the games and some of the news later. Um, Ireland versus England. Now there is a very interesting game. There, it was very swung both ways. Ireland had a try disallowed because they were holding a Toge in the ruck on the try line, which they deemed interfered with the defense of England. So yeah, there was I can't remember the player, but there was talk about a direct shoulder contact onto Curry's chin, which got overlooked. But before everybody goes, there was things overlooked on both sides. Atoje should feel disgraced with himself, and I think he's an overrated player. I actually don't like him. Um, I mean, there's proof of him stamping on Hansen's foot in a little altercation that the two of them had. Um, so yeah, I mean that was not that was not what you should expect from your captain, especially someone who's captaining your side. That was a disgrace from a captain's point of view. Watching, if I ever saw my captain doing that, I would have been in the media. I don't care if I got fired from the English. I would say that is a disgrace to watch my captain do such a dirty trick like that. Then there was Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith should be banned as well. He came in at, I think it was James Lowe late. James Lowe was already in the ruck, came flying in with his shoulder, and came and hit him. There was stuff off the ball from both sides, from what I saw. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't end up in a brawl, to be honest. But yes, that was that game this week. Both teams, I think, should be disgraced in the way that they handled themselves. But at the same time, it was a very high intense game, and I predicted Ireland was going to win, and Ireland walked off with the win. England, I think, are very lucky to walk off with a point from that. I mean, 5 points basically going around this weekend for all the winners, and just one for England, which keeps them off from the bottom, keeps them mid tier. But then this week, we have Italy versus Wales. I really hope Wales comes and pitches up. Unfortunately, it's for Italy at home. I think this is probably going to be a close game either way. I'm probably going to have to say the way Italy played this weekend, it's definitely going to be Italy that takes it. But yes. But I think that is the game that we're going to have to watch this weekend. England's going to look for some retribution against France. But is it going to be another game like we had this weekend with Ireland and England, where there was a lot of off the ball tactics for both teams? Is it going to be that way? France, unfortunately, what I've been watching with, especially with France, Ireland, and England, they're doing a lot of shoulder tackles, which they get away. As I explained it to someone, it's like an old Umaga and Nonu kind of tackle where they lead in and they just have the one arm out. Bundy Aki is one of the players that does it on a regular basis. It's like a New Zealand style of tackle. So yeah, I think France is definitely going to take it though. And no, it's not because Anton Dupont is the best team. I mean, the best player in the world. Yeah, yeah. Anton Dupont is rated as the greatest player of all time. As I will say this, and I'll keep saying this, in rugby, you can't have the greatest player of all time because you can't have a player that plays every position. You can't have a player that works in the front row and the back line, because it's physically impossible. I don't think you can probably rate him as one of the top nines in the world and nines ever. Don't even know if he'll be the greatest nine ever, because there's a lot of pundits that say other players. Right now, I think he is probably D9 in the world, especially when it comes with the likes of Intermac at 10. That makes him look even greater. But greatest player of all time, I'm sorry, I, as I said, I can't rate who is the greatest player of all time, because that player, you can't put the Ponte at prop, or you can't even put him at lock, for instance. He's definitely not going to be a lock. But yes, that's my say on that. But I do think it is going to be France. France, however, are without Intermac because he is now suspended. I haven't seen any news on how long he's been out for, but it's probably going to be 4 weeks or so. And he's probably going to do the training, which is going to reduce it, which means he might be back in time for like one of the last games in the tournament. Scotland are hosting Ireland. This is going to be a bloodbath of a game. It is going to be physical. You are going to have all of Scotland putting it out there, but I think Ireland is going to take it. Whether Ireland does a lot more off the ball tactics is another thing, which, to be honest, I don't really like. But moving on to other things, URC, we have one game in the URC this weekend, which is the Stormers versus the Bulls. It is a good North versus South derby here in Cape Town, which means it's going to be packed. It's going to be electric. It's probably going to be a great game. Stormers are missing three of their playmakers from the box, being Marnie, who's still out with a bit of a knock that he took against Racing. Sasha and Willemse is still struggling with his groin. So yes, but luckily they have the caliber of a Murat and Ruben van Heerden, because JD Sickling is apparently also out with a bit of a niggle right now, which is not what we want to hear, but it's how the cookie crumbles. But with the likes of Jonathan Roche, who right now is electrifying, and Paul de Villiers, that is a name I reckon people need to listen out for, because he is going to be great. Unfortunately, because he's a Stormers player, it's a high possibility he's going to get poached at some points. It's just how the cookie crumbles for the Stormers. But yes, that is how it is. I did find a video that I think is very interesting for you guys to listen to from World Rugby with Angus Gardner explaining the 20 minutes red card rule. So yes, I'm going to pull that up quickly and then we can have a listen. And here it is.
So with the 20-minute red card, the full red card can be issued by match officials for acts of thuggery. Examples of that might be kicking, punching. The 20-minute red card applies when a player commits foul play, but it's not an act of thuggery, and that player is removed for the entire game. However, their team may replace that player after 20 minutes.
Now, with that saying, the next thing we need to discuss, Marcus Zolo Impimpi. He has been given a max suspension. Apparently, it was a full max suspension because he gave an apology, got reduced to 2 weeks. Because he's a repeat offender, it's now 3 weeks. Someone who is of the caliber of a Springbok should not be doing that as well. I'm sorry. And the fact that he got away with an incident where he literally rubbed a guy's face in the ground, and I think it was Evan Roos got suspended because he did that against Leinster, or he got penalized for it against Leinster a couple of years ago, and Pimpy gets away with it. I'm sorry. He's done, in my opinion. I think a lot of people have also lost respect for him because, one, he's a repeat offender. Two, this isn't the second time there's been an incident this year with him within the season. Yeah, Jacques has he say about it, but yes, that is what's happening this week. Yeah, the refs are definitely under the scope because I have seen a lot of articles regarding things that were missed this year, or this week, and this year, in fact. Hansen literally got back from a suspension because he questioned, or not questioned, he made a comment about the referees. I know we spoke about it last week, where we believe there needs to be a public outcome of what was, how the ref was rated, and if there is any things he needs to do, like with a tackler that does a high tackle, there is a tackle course that they have to attend to. Whether or not, hopefully Jacques will have something about that next week, because I know he was trying to follow up with a couple of the guys that he has. And hopefully, Jacques, if you listen to this, you did well in your test, because we know you're awesome. Dara, bud, to you, buddy. Hope you're doing a lot better. Can't wait to have you back. Have your Irish input, because I would have actually liked to hear your view on the English game. But anyway, my fellow champions, be safe, go well. Cheers.
However, On the Mapimpi incident, I saw I got a lot of words on Facebook regarding my comment that I made that I think he should retire, which is my opinion for a very long time now. I think he's reached his peak. He's done with it. And whoever thinks that I'm wrong are more than welcome to query me about it. But that's my point, and I'm sticking to it.